the mind, you can say with the M, or with a capital M, it's like the mind, in fact, is like the decision tool. You know, it makes the decision. Makes it. I said it the other day. It's like consciously allowing the space for love to take its rightful place. That's the mind is like a servant for that. It can decide for love, which is amazing. Like it can decide for love, and that means it needs to get itself out of the way for that to happen. So that's, yeah, it's amazing. But in fact, behind all of that is the power of love, or is the power of mind, in fact, which is the whole universe. So anyway, so we come to that, in fact, with a beautiful blue, white, no, whiteboard. It's not a very clear picture, but it's actually helpful. I know it for a long time. So I didn't make it myself, it's given. I used it a lot. So here is cause and effect relationship. We have been looking at these kind of things a lot in this class, in this Incorruptible Body class. Cause and effect relationships. Well, it's like here. Projection, reciprocity, you know, it's like there's a world out there. There's a cause and effect relationship. Every problem is a solution. There's white and black. There's out there and inwards. There's a you and a me. A world of objective non-existence. The complete cancel out. Wait a minute, I'll come back to that. So you seem like you are trapped, but you seem to be trapped in a hologram of your own memory mind. So you could say like you walk around in a body memory package. So you project ideas on your hologram, and you appear, and that appears to be your world. But you don't have the idea that that's the occurrence, because you think it's real, and that you came to that place when you were born. And that's based on the idea that you are a separate entity born out of other bodies, like we showed in the other episodes. Like you were born out of other bodies, and suddenly you find yourself in a world full of objects. Yeah, here it says like this world is a continuum of temporal historic relationships into which you apparently are born, suffer and die. Your eyes see nothing, they are only light gatherers. So you appear to be trapped in a hologram of your own memory mind, full of memories, ideas, histories, science. You prove it to yourself by making it in scientific research. If you can repeat it, then you think it's true, which is a very interesting idea. If you look at it from scientific point of view, you think anything that you can repeat is true. Well, that's interesting. You know, you can see that, right? It's like, that's an amazing idea. So you need to duplicate it in order to prove it real. So that doesn't work like that in truth at all. So you could actually say, to prove it to yourself, you do it twice in order to convince yourself that it's true. So then it cannot be true. Otherwise you wouldn't have to convince yourself, you would recognize it. So there goes your science and your, say, universities of science, or your science, whatever. Like, that's pretty wild. Just by looking at this left picture, in fact. So the right picture, we go there later. So the left picture says inside the brain of the man. So it looks at objects, it confirms its existence. Like it's chaotic, because past and future, always over and gone, and you believe it's real, because you think that people from the past are related to you closer than people you meet now, for instance. So it's a complete chaos, because it's a reflection, it's not anything else. So the fact that it is a reflection, of that it is chaotic, is also inherent, like it is compacted in the idea, I don't know who I am, what I'm doing, where I'm going. I have no idea. I don't even know what I am. And I try to, say, rule the world. I try to set up rules. I try to make law. I try to, say, fix all the problems that I perceive. I'm really busy doing so, trying to give everyone a house, schooling, and all this stuff that we discover, that we think that we need to do in order to exist. So based on science, we are directed. So now we come to the con-science part, where in fact there is no duality, where you actually recognize I'm the instrument of truth, I'm the savior of this world that I'm perceiving, because I know myself to be the cause of this. And I also know myself to be the effect of God. So if I make those two connections, then in fact I walk around in the unity of eternal light. Like I'm in an eternal moment of peace. As long as I allow time to collapse into this one real moment, which is the present, I'm say what love is. I'm actually extending myself as who I was created. So this is just a picture. Forgiveness, extension. These are the activities. Forgiveness, continuously letting go. And extension, like how can I give in this situation? This is my starting point. How can I give? How can I extend in this moment? How can I give? And I'm waiting for the answer instead of thinking that you know what needs to occur, but relying on the certainty of your newfound discovery of who you are. So that's really great. So one funny joke, then this is more like the scientific part. So you see the guy trying to solve an equation, and then a miracle occurs, and something else comes out of that, like brilliant ideas. But the professor says, I think you should be more explicit here in step 2. And you can't be. So I think it's funny. But anyway, that was just a little joke. So this is very basic, but I love in fact I love this, because you see the two next to one another. So you choose either one of those continuously. Just closing this one, and now I need your active participation for this time. I'm giving myself some space too. So the question is, and this is like completely spontaneous. So the question is, what happens if you let go of the conflict? What happens if you let go of the conflict? What happens if you decide for love? That's in fact the same question, but so hopefully you still have some energy to work with me here. So the question was, I'll type it in first. The question is this. So I have two questions. So this one we do first. What happens to you if you let conflict go? I'll position this one, fix it. Well, what happens if you let conflict go? And you can type it in the chat if you have difficulties writing on this thing, or then I'll put it up for you. Yeah, je me rencontre. I recognize myself. In fact, nothing happens. That's a great one too. That's a great one too. In fact, nothing happens. If you are in, it's like I wrote down, I am entering eternal happiness. But if you're there, nothing happens. No change is happening. Is there anything stopping you to let go of conflict? I want to know.
Okay, so.
Mes pensées, my thoughts. Ego, habitual thinking. No, there's nothing stopping me from to let go of conflict. This is great. So actually nothing is stopping us except these things that we know. It's like, why do I bring this up? Like, because of the choice, between conflict or infinite, like eternal happiness, conflict or eternal happiness. There appears to be like a choice, and as long as you believe that conflict is attractive, in fact, or an option, then it will be there. So this is why I want to bring it back to, is like, here's where your power of mind comes in, because you're using the power of your mind to make that decision, letting the world be transfigured or not. It's like you like to stay in the darkness frequency of conflict, or that is attractive to you, that's where you choose for and take all the consequences of it. Or you decide to let this world be transfigured into your new realization of the light being that you are, like being at home in heaven, in the hands of God, in the heart of God, extending your love forever. And that sounds very simple, and it sounds too simple, but it's in fact always you always come to this point where you decide this. So that's why I bring it up, and now by the new experiences that you have found with allowing light to rule you for just a moment, and seeing that changes everything. Suddenly the sun starts to shine, or suddenly, who knows, like, it doesn't have to be an appearance in form, but like something is happening to you in which you can be in this world but not of it at all. Like, you're not ruled by this world any longer. You allow it to be transformed. You give the space for that to occur. That is the beautiful action connected to this. So yeah, that's in fact what I wanted to convey to you today. So thank you so much for your active participation and your presence. Thank you.